Our next guest played 8 successful seasons in the NFL before a brain injury forced him to retire from the game he loves. He's Merril Hoge. He's known for his work with ESPN as an analyst as well. Merril, great to have you here. People might not also know that you actually call the Tri-State home, and they're about ready to get to know you as an author as well. We're going to talk to you about a lot of things today, but certainly this is one of the main reasons you are here. His new book is called Find a Way. It's a very inspirational story. I made mention of your brain injury. That's just basically a couple chapters in this book. You have lived a life, a complete life already. It's unbelievable. Yeah, well, you know,
actually the words to me have helped me to live a dream and fight to live. You know, they really resonated with me when I was 12 years old. You know, my goal and aspiration was to play in the National Football League. And in my room, when I was finally getting my own room, I had my dad make an entire wall out of cork, and that's when I was putting up my goals. And the dad put up, "I will play in the NFL." I kept thinking about everything people would tell me, like, nothing was encouraging either. It was like how hard it's going to be, the odds, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to find a way to, beat the odds, and whatever work's required, I'll have to do it. And that's when it became kind of my life philosophy.
Now, I briefly made mention of your brain injury. You were left with basically the mental capacity of a 7-year-old. You almost had to teach yourself to learn again. It's a very touching mention in the book. You and your 3-year-old daughter reading books together and both learning at the same time, pretty much having to teach yourself all over again.
Yeah, well, I think we all know how important it is to be with your children and communicate with them and read to them, especially when they're young. Well, it was actually one of my learning tools. I had to learn how to read again. I didn't have this is how bad it was. You could take me in my neighborhood where I was living in Chicago, take me around the block, drop me off, and I wouldn't be able to get home. And this was good 5 or 6 months after my last concussion. So, I had a long way to go, but it was enjoyable to be able to work that with my daughter. We were reading 2-year-old books. She may be understanding more than I was, but it was the one thing that really helped me start to become sharp mentally again.
Well, it's just one of the many great stories contained in the book. We do need to talk about Bengals football, of course.
Absolutely.
1-1, and if there's an average 1-1 out there, I think you could call Cincinnati that right now. They have not been too impressive. Do they get on track this weekend against Carolina? I mean, they're starting a rookie quarterback, so hopefully it clicks for them.
Let me just put it this way. Their defense from one week to the other was drastically different. Against New England, I thought, especially their box players, defensive line linebackers, did not have a very good game. They were outstanding against Baltimore. And I know here in Cincinnati, everybody's worried and concerned about Carson Palmer. And I tell you this, one thing I do throughout the week getting ready to do my job is I watch the tape of the game that took place. That's the best way to see it, from the all-22 and from the end zone. And so many of his throws, remember he overthrew T.O. one time in the end zone, and he missed Chad in the back of the end zone. I think those are things that stand out in people's mind. But if you really watch, I was able to watch on tape, and what happened on the T.O. one, somebody hits him right in the chest as he's going to throw. So when you go to throw, instead of following through and becoming accurate, your ball sells on you, which would happen to him. And the Ocho Cinco, when he's moving to the left but throwing back to the right, and that's a difficult throw. So I'm not worried about him. I think he'll be fine. This offensive line gets a little better, though. It'll be a good football team.
They have a great opportunity this weekend against Carolina, who, at least on paper, doesn't look that great this year. Once again, the book is called Find a Way. You have a book signing tonight as well at 7, correct?
Yeah, Joseph Beth's will be up there at 7 o'clock.
Well, great to have you here. Your story needs much more than 3 minutes' time, but a lot of it is contained right here. Great to have you.
Thanks, pal.